Hello, everyone, and welcome. This is going to be my first review of My Hero Academia by Horikoshi. I caught up to My Hero Academia this year, and it definitely deserves all the praise that it gets. It's a highly entertaining and enjoyable series, and it has amazingly hype action set pieces, and in my opinion, for the manga, some of the best paneling in shonen. It's probably one of my favorite. Horikoshi's probably one of my favorite mangaka when it comes to paneling because I don't know, it just feels like the way he makes his panels transition to each other is very fluid and seamless and just overall looks beautiful. Like in previous chapters, for example, ones with Hawks and Twice, every panel looks so beautiful. It's like I want to put them into like a wallpaper and just hang them up. They're just that good. With that out of the way, though, let's get started with the review of the most recent chapter, chapter 700, not 700, chapter 278, Disaster Walker. This chapter begins with Jiro sensing Giganto Machia is on his way and with no signs of stopping. This obviously frightens all of the UA students because to them, one, Giganto Machia is this just gigantic monster that could destroy any hero. Like, he is by far one of the scariest things for any pro hero, much less students that are training to be heroes. So seeing that he is on their way to their location is definitely something frightening to them. But it also means something else. Giganto Machia being on the move this far outside means to them that he defeated the heroes that are currently at the villain base, even though that's not entirely true, and he's actually just on his way to meet up with Shigaraki. From their perspective, it would mean that he had to have defeated the heroes, which adds more to their fear. Anyways, we pick up from where chapter 277 left off with Mount Lady fighting off Gigantomachia and trying to hold him back. But what we now learn is we see that the various commanders of the Paranormal Liberation Front are riding on his back, hiding from the heroes. This is very important because it means that while the heroes are dealing with Shigaraki, multiple powerful quirk users are on their way to back him up. And that includes people like Dabi, Toga, Mr. Compress, and now we also see Getten. Getten makes his appearance and he tries to fight off the heroes, wondering what the hell is going on, but he's immediately confronted by Cementos in a matchup that I find surprisingly interesting. We don't get to see this matchup much in fiction at all, and that's mainly because there's not many cement-based heroes in fiction, but the idea of ice versus cement is definitely something I'm very interested in, and I would love to see how it's going to be handled. We also see that Redestro emerges with his spare legs, and he immediately engages Edge Shot, which is another huge bane for the heroes, because Redestro is probably, outside of Gigantomachia and Shigaraki, the most powerful ally that the Paranormal Liberation Front has. And now that he's got his spare legs after his previous encounter with Fumikage, he is ready to wreck house with his stress quirk. And it looks like he already is because even though Edge Shot engages him, it very much looks like Edge Shot's on the back foot. We also get to see that Kamui Woods and Midnight are trying to help Mount Lady, but they notice Mr. Compress and Dabi and then are immediately counterattacked by them, with Mr. Compress being able to decompress some rubble that he picked up earlier and blasted at Midnight, and Dabi using his cremation quirk to absolutely blast Kamui Woods and burn him, leaving them wounded. Midnight knows just how catastrophic the casualties will be if Giganto Machia makes his way to Jakku, where Shigaraki is, and has to formulate a strategy to sedate him before he gets that far. She determines that of the heroes left around, it's Creati of the UA students that has the best shot, and calls out to her to take control of the plan to sedate Giganto Machia. But before Creati is able to get any details about this plan from Midnight, Midnight is ambushed by the PLF lieutenants who had arrived in pursuit of Giganto Machia to back him up. And just as Creati is about to freak out, she's able to calm herself down and take control of the situation, which is really good character development, which, if you remember from when she teamed up with Todoroki versus Aizawa, one of her biggest issues was not being confident in herself and not being able to properly take command of situations that she very easily could have taken. And we've seen that she's able to, improve on this. We saw this in her fight against Big Fist, and we also saw her this in that giant exam tournament where she faced numerous different superhero school students. So it's good to see that it's finally coming to fruition here. She's able to calm herself, she's not able to freak out, and she commands Earphone Jack and Tentacle and Mudman that she needs as much of their help as possible. She has Earphone Jack and Tentacle determine how long until Gigantomachia reaches their locations, and they estimate that he will reach them in 10 seconds, which isn't enough time at all. But Creati uses her leadership skills to rally the rest of the students as they prepare for battle. And right at the end of the chapter, we see that Mount Lady and Kamui Woods are holding on to Gigantomachia and are trying to slow him down as best as they could. With Mount Lady even giving a funny quip saying, "I haven't been this clingy since middle school," as she desperately holds onto his legs trying to drag him down, just to stall him just for those extra few precious seconds to see if someone, anyone, will figure out a way to sedate him. And the chapter ends with the students ready to execute the plan that they have against him. Overall, this chapter was very fast paced with a lot of action, and Horikoshi did an amazing job of conveying how dire the situation is through the facial reactions of the various characters. And a great example is Cementos' face when he challenges Getten. He's bruised, he's sweating, he's desperate, and it's all conveyed on his face. And you can just tell he's stressed. You can tell that this situation is one of the most dire situations he's been put through, and he is really trying to keep it together and try to hold back as best as he could all of these villains and try to take control. And it's not just him. We see it with Midnight, Mount Lady, Kamui Woods, Creati. All of these heroes are desperately trying to find answers to the sheer volume of powerful villains that just keep popping up across this battlefield, and they are desperate. And I really have to give props to Horikoshi because he was able to convey this masterfully. The art, not just in facial structures, but in general, was also top-notch, and overall, this chapter was beautiful. I cannot wait to see what Horikoshi does next chapter, and overall, this was just a very good chapter. I give it a solid 8 out of 10. Everything about it was very good. It was very well paced. The art was phenomenal. Dialogue was great, and action was great. And that's all I could ever ask for a chapter of My Hero Academia. So yeah, I'm going to give this chapter an 8 out of 10. If you guys like what you saw here, please like, comment, and subscribe, and stay tuned because I will be doing more My Hero Academia reviews in the future. There will be no chapter next week due to Shonen Jump taking a pre-planned break for the Olympics that was supposed to have happened this year, but unfortunately was canceled due to COVID-19. So the next time we'll see My Hero Academia will be in 2 weeks, and so that's when chapter 268 will come out, and not 268, 278 will come out, and no, sorry, 279. Jeez, get these numbers mixed up in my head. Chapter 279 will be coming out in 2 weeks, and you best believe that I'll be here to review that chapter, so please stay tuned. This is Shiny Pokemon Incorporated, signing out.